Today, we have a huge day of announcements about AirPods and Apple Watch, and we're taking the biggest leap ever for iPhone.
Hi everyone, Gareth Beavers here for Digital Trends. Now, Apple's latest event was packed and they moved things pretty quickly. There's plenty to talk about, so let's dive right in and see what the big takeaways were. Number one, AirPods Pro 3. Now, apparently Apple says the noise cancel on these is twice as good as it was before, and that is a big shift because the AirPods Pro 2 had very good noise cancelling, and if you're someone that likes to use ANC daily, on the commute, in the office, just switching off, this is something you'll notice straight away. It's a practical upgrade, not just a spec sheet change that we see sometimes from Apple. This is going to be something that everyone is going to want to listen to first rate. Apple also talked about the AirPods Pro in terms of fitness trackers as well. To be clear, they're not fitness trackers in their own right. They need to be paired with an iPhone. They work more like a heart rate monitor, so similar to what you get from an Apple Watch. Now, that could be useful during workouts if you don't own a watch, and there are studies suggesting that the skin near your ears might even give more accurate readings. But I'm still not convinced it's a big step forward. It feels more like Apple giving users another option rather than, reinventing the category. Let's talk about the Apple Watch Series 11. Now that brought the surprise, blood pressure hypertension monitoring. Not a surprise in terms of being rumoured, but I just didn't think it was going to happen at this point because there are lots of things that need to happen in terms of machine learning and understanding in great detail how blood pressure really works. And so to Apple to bring this out now means it's probably pretty confident it's going to work. It still has to go through FDA approval, but it is a significant addition. Now, the new sleep score, that's less exciting because we've seen it for years on other devices, Garmin's for instance, and it's just more about personal tracking than really a major feature. Now, with the Apple Watch Ultra 3, which we also saw, there were some useful refinements. Again, blood pressure monitoring there, but a bit more battery life at 42 hours. Now, that's the game changer for me. It's not quite there in terms of hitting that 2-day mark that I'd really want. We're talking Garmin's as well that can go at least 11 days, and Apple's still struggling at 2. But that is a welcome step forward. And again, we've got a slightly larger display. Once more, the format itself hasn't changed, and people wearing these devices, it'll be hard to tell the difference. But with a slightly larger and brighter display, although it doesn't feel like a must-upgrade device, it's probably a good enough jump from the Apple Watch Ultra, and it now shares the same key health features from the Series 11. Now, let's get on to the iPhones, which were the main event really here. Apple's continued the trend of moving iPhone Pro features down, so the 16 Pro features have come across to the iPhone 17. This year, it's the 120Hz Pro Motion display. There's also faster charging, 50% in 20 minutes, and while that might sound like flashy specs, it's the kind of quality of life update that makes a real difference day to day. The front camera has also got smarter. Now, it's got a square sensor in there, which, adding to AI, can tell when more people should be in the shot, and it can frame and switch things differently without you having to rotate the phone manually. It can do it for you. Now, it's not something people buy the phone for, but it's the kind of feature that will quietly impress when they stumble upon it. Now, the real headline here is the iPhone Air. It isn't the iPhone 17 Air. It's a completely separate whole range of phones from Apple. It's slimmer, it's lighter. It's got Ceramic Shield 2, the ceramic glass front and back, and it's just a single camera sensor. Apple has pushed really hard to talk about how durable this thing is, how long the battery life could last. And even though it has got the same single camera sensor, it's a dual fusion one in there, so it can actually do a little bit more. You're not going to get the same camera prowess that you're going to get on the 17 Pro Max or 17 Pro, for instance. That's a given because it's only got one single sensor. But the design is striking, and with the MagSafe accessories to extend the power too, I think this will be the device that really gets the mainstream attention. Your friends who ask you, what's happened with the iPhone 17 launch, this is the one to tell them about. There were also some smaller but interesting details around as well. The iPhone 17 Pro and the iPhone Air itself had this camera bump, which Apple kept calling a plateau, which is the first time for hearing that. They talked about it like it was normal, but it's the first time we've heard of this quite large lozenge at the back, which apes a lot of other designs such as the Google Pixel, etc. And it's clearly the only way they can get this extra camera sensors onto the back of the phones. Now, the iPhone 17 Pro seems to be shifting towards more machined aluminium on the back with only a small panel of ceramic glass. And if that's accurate, that is a big design change, and one that could really make the device feel like a different step forward for those people who are thinking about, why should I upgrade? What do I need to do? And then there's the A19 Pro Chip. Apple is saying it delivers MacBook Pro level performance inside an iPhone, and that's a bold claim, and it shows you just how much they're trying to tie the iPhone's future to AI capability and show you what it can actually do. So overall, this event was about refinement, not revolution. The iPhone Air is clearly the headline, the AirPods Pro 3 bring meaningful noise cancelling upgrades, and Apple's watches are edging deeper into health monitoring. There's positive steps across the board, but there's nothing that completely changes the game and makes you want to have a must-buy for these things, unless you're deeply in love with the way the iPhone Air looks. This is more evolution than leap, and we're going to be digging in further into the features and all the things that you can do with these new devices in the coming weeks. I've been Gareth Beavers for Digital Trends. Let me know what you think stood out most, and I'll see you next time.